Hi, and welcome to the video that I know you guys have all been waiting for, Introduction to Financial Domination, or FinDom. Let's talk about what FinDom is. As a kink, it is the act of a sub, sometimes called a FinSub, pay pig, cash cow, there are a variety of terms, sends to a dom, sometimes just called a FinDom, sometimes called a queen, a mistress, a goddess. If they're a male, sometimes it's a cash master, and that's it. A sub sending money to a dom. That's it. That's the kink. There's nothing else to it. Many doms will engage in humiliation, chastity, something called feminization, a bunch of other kinks, but those aren't required to do FinDom. I just want to be clear about that because I think a lot of people get confused and think that they have to be mean. I certainly was confused in the beginning, but there are a variety of types of doms out there. I am the sadistic, evil, mean, sometimes bully goddess. That's my persona. You can be a soft dom, you can be a mommy dom, you can be someone who only engages in one specific type of kink and FinDom. There are a variety of ways that you can go about creating your persona. But I want to be clear. The important thing here is that you are dominant. You are in control. You're in charge. If you can't do that, this isn't the thing for you. If you can't do that, this is not the area of spicy work for you. Period. And the reason I say that is because so many people get into FinDom thinking that they can learn to be dominant. And while some can, I have changed over time, but it took me a while, you can't force yourself to be something you're not, as much as you want to be. So I have spoken to some people in my DMs over on TikTok who have asked me, but how do I flip that switch? How do I become dominant? And here's the problem. I can't help you with that. Some people genuinely just can't do it. I was terrible in the beginning. I'm going to be upfront with you guys. I pivoted to sort of generalized spicy content because in the beginning, I was bad at being dominant. I thought that I had to be sadistic and mean. And while, yes, I am that now, 6 years ago, Sarah couldn't do that. I could not do that. And I didn't have someone telling me that I didn't have to be mean, that I could just be controlling in a different way. But on top of that, dominant just wasn't even a setting for me, let alone the default setting. Now, over the last 6 years, I have become more bitter and cynical, and I have come to, in a general sense, hate most men. So it's very, very easy for me to be mean to them. You don't have to be that way, though. If you're not dominant, you run the risk of falling into the sugar baby category or into the subcategory. Now, obviously, there are other ways that you can fail as a dom, but those are just a couple of things. And I just want to be clear. Sugaring is not the same as financial domination. Sugar babies are the people who provide companionship or sugar to men, usually, for money. That's it. They don't control the situation, which is what a dom does in financial domination. So if you get into this and you get those two things confused, you are going to fail and you're probably going to be canceled or ostracized by the rest of the community. I certainly won't interact with people who clearly don't understand the way this works. Other than, of course, to, help you guys out in my DMs. That I'm comfortable doing. But if I see you posting online something like, well, if you do this, if you send me this, I'll do this for you, in a way that isn't indicative of it being a reward for subs, yeah, I'm not going to interact with you. It's not being mean, it's just being upfront, because the people who engage in FinDom without understanding it hurt the community, hurt the industry. And this goes hand in hand with the next thing I want to talk about. It's about attitude. Everything you do has to be dominant. You cannot be seen begging. I don't care if you're $200 away from losing your apartment. If you say that, you are going to lose, period. Because the men who want to send to these women, they don't necessarily, there are some out there who might want to do this, but they don't necessarily want to just help out a woman who's struggling. They want to fund your lifestyle. Sure, they'll reimburse your bills, but they don't want to make it seem like they're reimbursing them because they have to, because you need it. You want it. You don't need the money, you want it. You're not chasing subs, you're letting them come to you. So if you post, guys, I really need an extra $20, I can't pay for my meds, you're going to lose. Plain and simple. There may be 1 or 2 subs out there who will send to you, but you're probably not going to get in front of them in time. Even at my most desperate moments, way back when I started, I still never begged, because I understood, as little as I understood back then, I didn't understand this. You don't beg, you don't complain in that sense. You can complain like, ugh, these subs are so annoying today, and like kind of still humiliate them, but that's different. To build on that, you don't give out free kink. Sure, you can humiliate them in your, random Twitter post, but don't call somebody out specifically unless you've already blocked them, and that's a whole other thing I'll get into later. But don't chat with them for free. Don't humiliate them for free. Don't dominate them for free. Everything you do needs to be behind a paywall. That includes an initial conversation. Findoms require an initial tribute. Mine right now is $22 because I like the number 22. It was higher and I've played around with it, and I understand some subs don't want to send that tribute without understanding more about you. And if you're still new, you don't necessarily have a lot of content, a lot of posts, a lot of teasers, or a lot of proof from subs that you are legitimate. And so subs may not want to send a $50 or a $100 tribute. Follower count on various platforms is also indicative to subs of whether or not you're legitimate. Even if you're new, you can't act like you're new. You can't say, oh, I'm new to this whole findom thing, someone teach me, and things like that. You can't post that. You are experienced, you are wanted, you are popular, you have the money. Like I said, you want it, you don't need it. It is about attitude. I want to build on that by saying everything you do needs to be behind a paywall. I'm not just talking about a subscription page or purchasing content. Many DOMs, honestly, I think all FinDOMs require an initial tribute. Now, whether that's $5 just to prove they're not a scammer, that's fine. It doesn't have to be an insane amount. Mine is 22 right now because I don't have a lot of followers on Twitter since I restarted. And I know that Twitter is also not really the place to get a lot of subs. But on top of that, someone would have to pay to subscribe to me on Loyal Fans. They'd already have to pay to chat with me because I have message prices, and it's less for subscribers, giving them an incentive to subscribe. But on top of that, the whole point of the kink is money. I'm not going to chat with you for free. Now, I say that some legitimate subs will actually reach out to you without sending. And the reason they might do that is because you're new, you don't have a lot of posts, you don't have a lot of content, you don't have a lot of proof that you were legitimate. So they might want a message or two just to prove something. Never send a video verification saying, I'm so-and-so, this is my username, this is the date, whatever. Never do that. If you have an age verified platform, which you should if you're watching my videos, then all you got to do is say my age verification is in my Twitter or whatever. Because here's the other thing. You can link back to your Twitter from Loyal Fans or from other sites. So you can prove that you are who you say you are and that you're not faking being tied to somebody else. Anyone who asks for a video verification is either a time waster or a scammer at this point, because any real sub is going to know how to figure out that you're real. If a sub messages you and you respond, which you should within 2 to 3 messages, you need to send an initial tribute to speak to me or something along those lines, and they ignore it, they skirt the issue, they just don't send, block them immediately. All they're trying to do is waste your time and get free kink. Never just get mad. Never try to dominate them, because that's what they want. So if I hear something that's, hi goddess, and I'm like, where's my tribute? Because that's not mean, that's just firm. Where's my tribute? Oh, I was too afraid to send. Okay. Send. And if they don't send, or if they say, but I can't, okay, well, then you're blocked. And I do send them a link to be able to send my unblock fee, but my unblock fee is $500. Because if I'm going to go to the trouble to unblock you, you're going to pay me for that experience. And if I'm going to go to the trouble to unblock someone who has annoyed the fuck out of me, you're definitely paying for that. That's my mentality. I don't really care that someone complains about my initial tribute price, my unblock fee, my subscription price. That doesn't matter to me. I charge what I charge because I value my time. And if you don't value my time, that's your problem. That's how I treat it. We're going to kind of move on here just a little bit. I talked about subscription pages. I've had people come to me asking what they should post or what they are allowed to post as a dom, meaning that they're worried that if they post nudes, that they might be seen by other doms as not dominant, not legit, whatever. And I want to be so very clear about this. Any dom who worries about what you are posting, as long as it's not like illegal or immoral, if any other dom cares that you're posting nudes, posting like whatever, they are thinking too much about you and not enough about their own bag. I say that obviously with the understanding that as long as you're remaining within the lines of being dominant and things like that, and not muddying the waters. But there are a lot of doms that show their entire bodies completely nude. I do. I also make different kinds of content. In my dom content, I still wear lingerie and things like that. I still show things. In the boudoir shoot I just did, I have pasties, but like otherwise most of me is like out to play. So it doesn't matter what you post as long as you remain dominant. If you want to post, censored stuff and just say, you're never going to see this, only good boys get to see this, and then they're never good boys or never good enough, that's fine. That's great. Do that. Tease them. If you only ever want to be completely covered, even from the neck down, great. Tease them. They're not man enough to handle you, sweetheart. And I say this all from the point of view of me being a cis woman having mostly cis male subs. So when I say him, her, she, him, that's all I mean by that. I'm not saying that certain genders can't do this, because honestly, any gender can do this. Anyone can do this. Not everyone should. And I take that back to the whole not being able to be dominant thing. But there are doms of every gender. I have encouraged people of every gender to do this. Not in a, oh my God, you should totally do this way, but like when they come to me and they have questions, I'm like, yeah, you can absolutely do this. Just make sure you do it right. That's the key here. Anything you do, do it right. I've already said this before. I will not help cis men to do this, partly because I think most male doms tend to be dicks, just from my experience. I've met some really wonderful ones, don't get me wrong. But I'm also just not going to help cis men because they get enough help in the world. So if you're a cis man watching this and you would like to ask me some questions, you're not going to do it for free. You're going to go over to my ManyVids and purchase the online tutoring thing and then get 30 days of help from me. Honestly, you should be tipping me throughout that because you're a man and I'm a woman, and that's just required at this point. I also recommend hopping on different age verified sites. Figure out what's going to work for you. For some people, it's clip sites. Just selling clips. That is a passive form of income, guys. That is a great way to make money while not even really trying that hard. Because if you are even just posting, find my content links in bio, they're gonna find ManyVids and they're gonna go over and they're gonna see your clip site. So just think of everything you can do to try to earn passive income. Because of course you want to be posting multiple times a day, but scheduling your posts, and I schedule marketing posts, but I also schedule like the hot luring men to their financial doom kind of posts as well. I'm not always the one posting at 3 a.m. like devotion, addiction, tribute, sacrifice, obsession, and then posting a hot, blurred photo. At 3 a.m.? Yeah, sometimes I'm awake at 3 a.m., but not always. There are plenty of sites on which you can find legitimate pay pigs. But please understand that there are a lot of scammers out there, and you're gonna find to every like one real pay pig, you're probably gonna get 100 scammers. Easy. So I want to kind of give you a rundown of some of the common scams that I have seen. The first is anytime someone asks you to send a fee, instant scam, instant block, report them too. One common scam that I've mostly seen on Blue Sky, I don't think I've seen it on Twitter yet, is to have someone message you first, hi goddess, and I'll be like, hey, where's my tribute? And they'll say, I don't do tributes. Can I cover some bills? That first message is, not the first hi goddess, but the first I don't do tributes, blocked immediately, because I don't want you. If you're not proving that you're real, then you're not real. It's pretty fucking simple. An initial tribute is basically the verification for these subs to prove that they're not spam, to prove that they're not bots, to prove that they're not trying to steal your money. If someone comes to you and says, oh, do you use Telegram or WhatsApp, email, if they give you their phone number, whatever, total scam. If they found you on Twitter, they can talk to you on Twitter. If they found you on Loyal Fans, they can talk to you on Loyal Fans. It doesn't matter what site they found you on. If they tell you to go to another platform to speak, instant block. Never give out your bank information. And if someone asks you if you use PayPal or Zelle or whatever, no. Instant scam, instant block, just don't go there. If someone asks if they can pay you using Amazon wishlist items or an Amazon gift card, nope. Nope. And you can explain, no, I don't do that. My payment options are in my bio. You can always do that to these people, but odds are you're either never going to hear from them again or they're going to try to push for whatever form they want to push for. The reason I say that about Amazon is because, one, gift cards can be contested. So if they send you a digital gift card, they can then claim that you have, hacked or whatever, or stolen their gift card. And that can get your account closed and banned. As for wish list items, anyone can purchase an item from your wish list and then cancel it, and you will not get a notification, and you will be waiting for that item for a while. So if you do ever want to accept something from Amazon, accept physical gift cards. And if you accept anything from your wish list or a physical gift card, you're not going to provide the service until you receive the item. That usually gets them to run away fast. Scammers are not just limited to the sub side of things. You will see plenty of DOMs stating, oh, if anybody is still new and wants, some help finding pay pigs, I'll happily send one your way. No real Dom is going to actually send you a pay pig. That's our hard-earned money. We actually do work pretty hard to do this. I am never going to send you a pay pig. One, because, again, hard-earned money. But two, I don't know you as a Dom. I have interacted with some others, but I don't really know what you're going to do, how you're going to treat them, how much you're going to charge, how they're going to interact with you. I don't know any of that. Why would I send you a sub that trusts me? That makes no sense. And on top of that, if you ever ask a Dom for one of their subs, you will get blocked and possibly chewed out so fucking fast. Don't do that. I have gotten so many people doing that. A couple of people in my DMs, one of whom actually got my DMs on TikTok closed off for like 4 days because they got mad that I wouldn't send them a pay pig. And I tried to explain to them firmly, but still nicely, like, don't ask that question. You're going to get chewed out by every Dom out there. The point is, there are a lot of scams out there on both sides. I have started using a site called FinDoms Only, which you do have to pay to be on. So I just want to be clear about that. I mean, technically you can join for free, but you can't do anything for free. You have to join and pay to be able to post and to be able to interact with subs and things like that. But the subs that get verified are actual genuine paying subs. So you know that those are safe ones. Now, I recommend adding a small requirement for people to be able to message you, even if it's 10 cake coins, which is their like form of payment. That's basically, what is it, $1? I think it's $1. So it's not a lot, but it proves that they're not a scammer, and it keeps the non-verified scammers out of your inbox. It's just a recommendation. I do have a referral link for FinDoms Only. Again, I don't require you guys to use my referral links. It's just a request. I'm providing as much of this information as possible for free, but referral links do help me, obviously further down the road. It's not a lot, it's a tiny amount, but it allows me to feel like I've been compensated for all of this time I'm taking to try to educate you guys and help you guys out. I want you to succeed, and referral links cost you nothing. So that's the reason I request it. There are plenty of other fetish-friendly sites that help Doms connect with subs. I have not found them to be successful. I don't recommend them. In fact, I recommend steering clear of, Fetish Finder. That's my personal opinion. Fetish Finder, Feet Finder, and WeirdWealth.co are all the same company. I find them to be very scammy, partly because they have just been overrun by people who don't get it and people who are only trying to refer other people to the platform. Whereas I am a legitimate Dom. I have been doing this for a while. I've been in the adult industry for 6 years. I'm only trying to help. So be wary of anything that sounds too good to be true. And I know that financial domination can sound too good to be true. And honestly, the reason it's not is because it's hard work. It is not easy money. We also don't involve non-consenting parties or minors. Obviously, the minors seems like a pretty obvious one. So does the non-consenting parties part. But some people will engage too far in like a blackmail fetish, for example. Even if someone has this fantasy of you exposing them as, a cross-dresser to their family, you still don't actually expose that to their family because that family member or those family members have not consented to this kind of play. So if someone is asking you to expose them on Twitter, that's one thing. But if they're asking you to expose them and provide their wife's phone number or something, that is, you can explicitly say, I'm not going to do that. And then you can continue playing and like teasing them and pretending that you're going to, and then just never do it. It just kind of depends on how they're going to react. Some men don't want you to break that fantasy, but I always try to be clear about what I will and will not do. I'm happy to play out the homewrecker fantasy without actually playing it out and without actually involving their wife or their girlfriend or whomever. Non-consenting parties also involves service workers and people just out in public. I got a pedicure a few weeks ago and I looked down and I went, oh, I need to take a picture of my feet. But the woman was still working on my feet. So what did I do? I waited until she walked away. She did not consent to be in any part of that content, whether it's only for Twitter or it goes to, subscription sites and things, which there you would actually need a model release at some point anyway. If I had taken a picture without her consent and her knowledge, first of all, that's just immoral. That's just unethical. Second of all, if I had posted it to one of my subscription pages, that would be illegal because that's an adult website. And even though the act itself is not sexual, the intent is sexual, the website is sexual. Don't do that. We as sex workers need to be better about that. So always think about the photos you're taking, about the things that you're sharing, about the people that you're involving before you really get into something. The last thing I want to leave you with is to just be unique. Sometimes even be yourself. I like watching movies, so what I'll do is I'll post on Twitter like, let's play a game. What am I watching? I'll give you a hint. It's a movie. And extra hints are $10. Each guess is $5. And sometimes, if it was like Star Wars, like I was watching a few weeks ago, nobody guessed it, which I really don't know how that happened. Maybe I just don't look like a Star Wars girl. I don't know. But it was fun. And I made, I don't know, $50 or whatever it was, as people kept asking for hints and then they guessed and then they didn't get it and then they thought that was over. And I was like, you can guess multiple times. You have to pay for each guess. But little things like that, they're not huge wallet drains, but they're fun and they're little games and they help subs get to know you a little better sometimes. So find things like that, things that maybe you do with friends or whatever that you can make into a game or make into an activity for some of your subs. Anything that you can do to make yourself stand out from the crowd is going to help you. That also includes various kinks. I'm mean, but I include humiliation, I include CBT, I include chastity, feminization, home wrecking and blackmail, and again, all only with consensual parties and things like that. So there are a bunch of things that you can do as a dom to make yourself stand out from the crowd. But if you don't do that, you are going to fail because the market is oversaturated. And if you're not a 10 out of 10 like Instagram model, you have to work so much harder. This is not easy money. It's not quick money. You're not going to make thousands in week one unless you're just stupid lucky. But whatever you do, have fun with it. I mean, really, if you're not having fun, then don't do this because it is a great experience. It's a great industry. It's a great world to be a part of, but only if you enjoy it. I hope that this helped, and I will see you in the next video where I promise I will go into a little bit more detail.